Good evening. We're going to be talking about one of the best avatars of all time tonight. We're going to be talking about the closer. The closer is an interesting avatar. Now, out of all the avatars you can choose to be, you cannot just choose to be the closer right out of the gate. A closer is more of an experienced avatar. You have to graduate to become the closer. But let me give you an idea what the closer is. After years of being in this business, I got to a point where I was sufficient at closing the majority of my good leads, a lot of my medium-sized leads or medium quality leads, I should say. And I started getting really good at handling my really bad leads, the ones that required a lot of follow-up. I created a system, a process. I created basically a metrics that I could measure my own leads. I got so efficient at this that I started creating a lot of time for myself. And so back in 2015, 2016 timeframe, I started telling people, hey, my name is Pace. I'm here local in Arizona. If you guys need help closing your deals, please let me know. And I started going on appointments. In fact, I started going on appointments for Max Jimenez and Steve Trang's team. I would go out and train some of their sales people, their acquisition people. I would go out on appointments for other big wholesalers, and I would basically just focus on their dead leads because obviously I understood creative finance. Now, I started helping so many people that I actually had a decision I had to make. And the decision I had to make was because of so many leads coming in that people were saying, please help me close this. Please help me close this. I had to do the math and sit down and go, is it worth it for me to continue generating my own leads, or should I just focus on closing other people's leads because it was coming in so frequently, so prevalently, and the flow was so strong that I could hardly keep up with the demand. So many people wanted me to go out on their appointments. And it got so demanding that I had to sit down and make a decision with my wife. A, do we continue doing both and just get better at being efficient with running our own leads, handling our own deals? Or do I shut that business off because it's expensive to generate leads and just focus on closing other people's cash deals and their creative deals? Because at the time I was the only real person in Arizona that really understood creative finance. I shouldn't say the only one. I was the only one that was easy to find, I should say. All these other creative finance people, they basically hide underneath rocks. I don't know where they were. It wasn't until I met Eric Sage, one of my good friends, that I realized that there was more of us, right? So I made the decision that I wanted to become really, really good at doing both because I didn't want to rely on somebody else's lead generation for my business to succeed. But the point in bringing all this up is to bring up the fact that you can build an entire business on just closing other people's leads. Now, tonight, what we're going to talk about is what that looks like. Okay, this avatar is called the closer. You are closing other people's A, cash deals, and B, their creative deals. So the way that I was doing this back in 2016 through 2019, I stopped doing it. And the reason being is I started teaching other people about 2019 how to do what I was doing during this time frame. This is actually called the PACE method. Okay. Everybody here in town started calling it the PACE method. And originally, before I called my mentorship the Sub 2 mentorship, my mentorship was actually called the PACE method. Then I realized I just wanted to focus on primarily Sub 2 because I was so passionate about it. I found that I was one of the only people in the country that knew all the ins and the outs. I knew just as much as any really good quality attorney, and way more than any other real estate attorney that was focused on just traditional stuff. And so this became my passion, and we changed the name of the mentorship to Sub 2 before we launched. But the reason I bring that up is to just highlight to you that this was so common. My business was so focused on generating leads, yes, for myself, but really I was handling other people's leads so frequently that people in town started calling that method the PACE method. Okay. This was happening for about 3 years. Now, what I really wanted to do is I didn't want to focus on other people's businesses. And so I continued to do both. And still to this day, my deal flow happens like this. Okay. I'm going to talk about my deal flow, what my deal flow looks like today, but I'm going to show you how you could just focus on being a closer. Okay. So, my deal flow as of today, this is Pace. I actually have 3 different buckets that my deals come through. So, here's my deal. The deals come to me. I'll tell you where they come from in just a second. I'll put a big question mark here. Where do the deals come from? Where are my deals coming from? And I will tell you the 3 buckets that I currently have right now. Actually, I technically have 4 buckets of what I do with these deals. Okay. Like completely, I got to rethink the way I'm drawing this because it's so crazy. All right. So there are really 3 different buckets, but one of the buckets segments into 2 parts. Okay. So let's focus on this. My deals come to me, leads come to me through multiple different ways. One, we have cold callers. We have for, I'd say, 5 years. This has been my main focal point for 5 years is cold callers. We use a company called startvirtual.com. This is where we get all of our cold callers. And actually some of my graphic designers come from Start Virtual. Some of my texters come from Start Virtual. Jamil's personal assistant came from Start Virtual. A lot of people use Start Virtual for multiple things. Start Virtual can do things for insurance clients, real estate agents, investors like myself or you. So we use a company called Start Virtual, and we do anywhere between, I'd say, 8 to 10 contracts per month and have for a very, very, very long time. Okay. Out of these 8 to 10 contracts that we generate ourselves, 100% of my team is virtual assistants. We got rid of Americans a long time ago. Why? Why did I get rid of Americans? Well, guys, I don't think I need to tell you this. And it hurts me to say this, but especially somebody who's a patriot, I love our country. The United States of America has a lot of lazy people who just want to be the boss. They want to come in, do one deal, work for you for 3 months, and then they want to become the boss and go start their own company. That is the biggest challenge with an acquisition department. Now, there's other companies I own, like my title and escrow company. My title and escrow people will be there for 10, 15, 20 years, right? They stay for a very, very long time. But acquisition people specifically, okay, the people that are doing the cold calling or the people that are doing the lead generation, the people that are closing, they typically learn what the closer avatar is and they go, oh man, I learned how to close with Pace. I'm just going to leave and go generate my own business. And so this is the biggest challenge with doing a direct to seller model, right? Meaning I have cold callers calling directly to sellers. That model is called a direct to seller model. So my cold callers are calling direct to seller, foreclosure, low equity, high equity. They're calling on bankruptcy, divorce. They're calling on ugly houses. They're calling on people who have long-term ownership, people that have been in the property for a very, very, very long time. We call on probate. We call on so many lists. We call on all the lists, okay? All of them. People are like, which list do you call on? All of them. We call on all the lists. If there's motivation, we call on it. It's very simple. Okay, so that is where I'd say about 40% of my deals are coming from right now is my own efforts, 40%. Now, I get probably 10 to 15% of my deals from relationships, right? Agents. A lot of agents and brokers that send me opportunities that have known me for years. They know who I am because I built up a reputation in town that I'm somebody who can close. So that's 10 to 15% of my deals. Now, my favorite lead gen is from my students. Okay. I built a mentorship or a community rather. So I call it a community, but some people can't understand that. So I have to sometimes use it by its more derogatory term, which is a mentorship. I built a community of people that are out there successfully finding deals, doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals a month, every single month. You can see a lot of them in the side chat today. Okay. They bring me probably between 40 to 50% of my deals, which is the way I think it should be. I believe that if you have a mentor that you paid, your mentor has an obligation to create successful students so that the majority of the money that they make in their life comes from successful students. And so that's what I did. I built relationships, of course, over time, but now I'd say about 50% of my deals come from my students. Okay. So here's what I do with my deals. Deals come into me. Okay. They come into my company right here. And my team, I should not even have Pace's name here, to be honest. Pace's team, I should say. Pace's team sifts through these, looks at them, negotiates with them, and makes a determination of what to do with them. There's essentially 4 things that we do with these deals. Okay. 1 and 2 are personal. Okay. And I'll draw a line here to kind of separate them. 1 is I keep them in my single family home portfolio. I would say 90% of the deals that come in our pipeline, we are now keeping these deals. We are no longer wholesaling more than probably 5% of our deals. Okay. Same thing with our fix and flip. So we probably fix and flip 5% of our deals as well. So as single family homes come in, 90% of them we just keep. Okay. We're doing a lot of sub 2 deals, a lot of seller finance deals. Every once in a while, we will do a BRRRR deal, but that all is encompassing in the word keeping. Okay. BRRRR is a keep strategy. Sub 2 and seller finance, we keep those as well. Okay. So then I also do a lot of multifamily properties. These deals I keep myself. Okay. I don't have partners on them. I don't have a fund associated. These are deals I keep myself. We have, let's see, I have somewhere around 1,000 doors in multifamily that I do not have a fund attached to it, which means this money came from my own money, came from my own efforts, private money lenders primarily. I brought in private money lenders. I have about 1,000 doors in multifamily, which is even crazy to write down. Number 3, I partner. Okay, this is where it changes up. This is me. This is Pace, me, myself, and I. Now, I do give some of my employees a partial ownership of these as a bonus for staying with me long term. So Molly and some other people that are with me for probably 10 years will get ownership of these properties as they stay with me for over 10 years. Molly will become a multi-millionaire just from having partial ownership of these deals. Now, I have other employees that are in this bonus pool, but whether they stay with me for 10 years or longer is to be determined. I have no idea how long they'll be with me. And so I am trying to make my employees essentially a retirement plan by me buying a lot of properties. Okay. And because I have no partners here, I have no fund associated with these, I can make my own determination of how I break these up. And so out of the goodness of my heart, okay, I truly try to just say, how can I make my team pay incredibly well? But how do I make it so my team, not just getting paid well, gets a portion of this chunk of my portfolio? Okay. So I don't have any partners in this. Now, in my partnership side of things, I only partner with sub 2 community members. Okay. We have a program called the Deal or No Deal program. and this is inside of sub 2 only. We will do single family plus multifamily, but these are in a partnership. Okay. This comes from community members bringing us opportunities. My partner, Abraham, and I bring the private capital to the table, and then we help manage and run those deals. I think in the last month, we've bought 12 of these just in the last month. Pretty cool. And it's just ramping up. I think this program is 2 months old. Just started doing this about 2 months ago. So again, these deals, okay, coming from sub 2 community members, some of those deals I buy myself. And some of those deals I partner with students, depending on if the student just wants to get an assignment fee. If they want to get an assignment fee, I put it in this portfolio. If the student wants to get paid in equity and ownership, we then bring it into the partnership program here. Okay. Hopefully I'm making this very clear. And the third bucket, or I should say the fourth bucket, is my multifamily fund. This multifamily fund is sub2fund.com. Now, I have an entirely different acquisition team here. I have 6 employees on this team. They are out working with brokers, and we currently have a $20 million, 160 unit seller finance multifamily deal. Seller finance with an element of sub 2 attached to it. We currently have that under contract. We should be closing on that next month. So this deal, we raise money for this, and so I bring in partners here. So people that decide, hey, I want to partner with Pace, you can go to sub2fund.com and you can register to invest in a deal with me, become a partner with me. So those are my 4 buckets. Okay. Why did I take the time to tell you all this? The reason I told you all of this is to tell you that the decision I sat down and made with my wife, I had to sit down, my wife and I said, hey, Laura, I'm getting really busy. Now we've got this is before I ever met Cody. I've got our own leads, right? We've got our own leads and we're making about $400,000 to $600,000 a year just doing that. And then I'm making another $300,000 a year just closing other people's deals. The great thing is here, I have a lot less to manage when I close other people's deals. I didn't have to generate the lead. I didn't have to deal with the cold callers. I didn't have to deal with systems and processes. All I have to do is go on the appointments and close them and then do the follow-up. Okay. So the reason I tell you this is because you will get to a point, if you get really good at this business, you have to make a decision. Do you want to build a business like my own, right? Well, you have a multifamily fund, you'll have partnerships with people, and you'll also have your own portfolio. You will not be able to do all of this if you only close other people's deals. Now, closing other people's deals has its advantages. But the reason I chose not to only be a closer, okay, the reason why I chose to not only be a closer is because I wanted to become, sounds crazy to even say this, but I wanted to become a billionaire at some point in my life by utilizing a fund structure. This is my pathway to become a billionaire. You'll never become, in my mind, you'll never become a billionaire by just closing other people's deals. You will be kind of a rogue agent. Now, everybody has a different lifestyle goal. Everybody has a different financial thermostat. Everybody has a different everything. So you have to make the decision, again, for yourself. So for me, we do our own deals and we close other people's deals. I slowly stopped doing this closing strategy, except for my students. For my students, I will do this. For outside people, I will never call a non-community member's lead. I just have too many people inside of sub two that want me to call their leads. So it doesn't make sense for me to call leads for non sub two community members. As of January 1 of 2023, I stopped doing deals with non community members. Okay. There are a lot of people that say that, I have all these relationships with people that are not in my community, and they send me opportunities, and I say, sorry, send it to Kevin, send it to um, Ingrid, send it to somebody else. And I will refer these people to work with other people, since I do not do deals outside of our community as of January 1, 2023. You will have to make decisions. You will have to make hard decisions in your business as to which way you go. And this was a decision I went. Now, in the very beginning, I could have just chose to be a closer. And if I just chose to be a closer, this is what I would have done. Okay. I would have continued to go to multiple places. Now, the advantage I have now is that there are a lot of closers in my community, because they realize as new students come in my community, they can go directly to those new students and say, hey, as you generate leads, let me close those leads for you. I have created an ecosystem for the closers to exist and thrive. Okay. How many of you guys in here are closers inside of my sub two community? You have closed deals for other people. Okay. So I have created that ecosystem. It does not exist outside of sub two, except for the advantage now I also have a free Facebook group. That free Facebook group, same thing. There's a lot of people that are just starting out. They are newbies and they are generating leads. And if I'm a closer, I'm going to those newbies and saying, let me help you close those deals. So here's what you got to do. Step one, find newer people. And when I say newer people, I'm going to say people that are anywhere between start to probably 2 to 3 years in the business is still, in my mind, somebody who's new. If you've been in this business less than 3 years, I would still say you are new. Okay. I don't know why it is when you're a doctor, it takes 16 years for you just to become a doctor. But in real estate, where you can make way more money, people think that they're old in this business after 2 years. You're not, you're brand new. Okay. So find somebody that's newer. They just started, or they're less than 2 to 3 years old in the business. Two, what I would do is I would tell them, you are a closer. You can go and close their deals. You can get on the phone with them and close their deals. And what I would be doing, three, is I would be getting a JV agreement with them. And if you guys would like, I will give you guys a JV agreement in the side chats. A JV agreement, I think we've spent a couple grand on that JV agreement. Let me pull that up and I'll give you guys this in the side chat. By the way, guys, I am not paying attention to the side chat tonight because I am trying to focus on telling you guys what a closer is. There's a lot of people saying, is Pace not answering questions tonight? Guys, usually I do answer questions, but tonight I am answering the question of what a closer is and trying to get to some very specific points so that people can watch you, okay, watch this in the future. I am not trying to ignore you. I just know that there's a very specific topic, okay? Let's see here. JV agreements are really important. Let's see, assignment, wholesale contract, JV agreement. This one's a couple grand. By the way, I would never give you guys in YouTube land, this is streaming on YouTube, I would never give you guys a seller finance, sub two, Morby method, lease option. I will never give you a creative finance contract. Okay, so here is the JV agreement. You guys want a creative finance contract, you need to do a deal with my community members and they will then bring the contract to the table. There's the JV agreement. It is a Google Doc. It is shareable. It is open. Okay. Let's see here. Let's make sure that I can share this with you guys. There you go. You can download it. As of right now, you guys can download this link. Okay. This is a JV agreement. So make sure you get a JV agreement. Don't do deals with anybody. Even my community members, don't do deals with anybody. Hey, sub 2 members ask for 50% equity. Well, get better at negotiating. Okay, there's the Google Drive link. Should work now. I just opened up sharing. I don't have time to talk to you guys about your questions in the side chat. I'm focusing on what I need to teach. Okay. Guys, my Zooms, this is not a Zoom. This is a YouTube live. Okay. Every Sunday night, for the people that are new to me, I have been going live on YouTube for 3 years plus, maybe close to 4 years. Every Sunday, 7 p.m. Arizona time. Very rarely will I cancel or move it back. Probably once or twice a year. I'm here every Sunday. This is for everybody. This is for, yes, my students are here, but there's a lot of non-students here. This is my podcast called Get Creative. Okay. So if you are a sub 2 student and you're like, oh, well, how do I get into your Zooms? That's an interesting question that you would even ask that. But the answer is go to your MSA, your member success advisor, and say, how do I get Pace's calendar? If you don't have access to the calendar, I have no words for you. It is in our sub2course.com. It's in the Facebook announcements. It gets emailed to you multiple times a week. It's in the Discord server. It's in so many different places. So there you go. Okay. No longer going to pay attention to the side chat. Sorry, guys. So I would go to I would say, I'm going to find some newer people. I'm a closer. Let's get a JV agreement. Says I will do A, B, C, and you will pay me X, Y, and Z. It's very simple. If I actually pull up the JV agreement, you'll see how simple the JV agreement really is. It's 2 pages, maybe. Might be 3. Let's take a look at it. There's like 60 people currently looking at it right now, which means you guys are getting some value from it. That's a good thing. You guys are liking this JV agreement. Okay. So joint venture agreement, here's the property. You guys can fill this in. A lot of you knuckleheads that are so brand new, you can't even like determine that you can fill things in. You can change this up. It's a Word doc. So change this up and you can say, we will work on multiple properties together. I will work on their leads. Here's the people that are involved, party A, B, and C. And then you can make the determination of here's any expenses needs to be breaking up this way. Any additional expenses that way, and profit will be allocated as follows. And then if you guys need to, you can enter more of these lines. Okay. But you want to put the additional terms and agreements and conditions right here so that you guys have it all on the same page. Okay. Okay. Well, dang, I guess it's longer than a couple pages. This is pretty long. This is great. Okay. I guess this is what happens when you hire an attorney. Okay, cool. There you go. So there's the joint venture agreement. Make sure that you guys fill out a joint venture agreement when you are working together. I don't care if they're a sub 2 student. I don't care if they're a non-sub 2 student. Fill out a JV contract with everybody. Everybody. Okay. Make sure that you guys have, I think that contract cost us like $2 or $3 grand to write. So hopefully you're getting value from that. Make sure you guys are going to my sub 2 community members and working with them. There's a lot of closers there, a lot of people that can help you out. Okay. Now I would then determine how do we get paid? How do we pay the pay structure? Then the 5th thing that I would determine is I would determine the communication. Okay. This is the believe it or not, this is the number one problem in, JV agreements and people closing other people's deals. Okay. Is the communication, because as a closer, I'm busy. I don't have time to update you every time I call a seller, let alone once a week. Sometimes I have hundreds of your sellers I'm calling. I just will, but I have to make that determination. Doesn't matter if I'm busy. We need to come up with how often are we going to have touch points. So what I used to tell people is every 2 weeks, I want new leads from you, and I will give you an update on the existing leads. Because every 2 weeks is about how often I follow up with sellers. I don't follow up every week. I follow up typically every 2 weeks. So I'm not going to have news for you every week. Okay. I just won't have news for you. And so people that are brand new, these newer people, they think you're calling that seller every day. Sounds crazy, but it is absolutely true. Hey, Ramon Rodriguez, one of my private money lenders. Thank you, bro. You just gave me $19. I will, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably use it for airfare to come see you soon, bro. I get to see him a couple times a year, which is great. Thank you. So, when people are brand new, they don't know what to expect. And so you need to clearly lay out the communication, and you need to clearly lay out what type of communication. Okay. A simple text message like leads are going well for me is not enough. For me, I want to know every lead and what's going on with that lead. For us, we used to do this through Google Sheets. Okay. And then we upgraded to a CRM. I will rarely, if ever, talk to you guys about my CRM. And the reason being is because I don't think most people need one yet. And so what I used to do is I used to push what CRM I would use, and people would go and spend a ton of money on this CRM. And then 2-3 months later, they'd go, Pace, the CRM is taking all my money. What suggestions do you have? I'm like, why did you think you needed a CRM? And they go, because you were talking about it on a YouTube video. You don't need a CRM. You need Google Sheets. Don't spend any money on a CRM until you're probably doing 3, maybe 5 deals per month. Okay. And at that point, you can then get a CRM. I do like that. Nisha, she says that Trello is free. We have a Trello board too. Here, let's see if I wonder if I have a Trello board. No, not there. Creative funding. Okay, yeah, we do have a Trello board. Let me show you guys what our Trello board. I'd never go on here, but it is a tab on my computer. And Molly actually prefers to use a Trello board for a lot of the transactions that we're doing. So let's see what her Trello board looks like. Creative Funding is the name of my Gator company. Of course, sign up to see this board. Get the freak out of here. Tell me that we can be logged in. Don't make this hard on me. Come on. Don't be stupid. All right, there you go. So you can say, here's the resources, here's the top tier docs, here's the to-dos, here's the closing soons, okay? Here's the active Pace transactions, here's the paid TC work that my team's doing, all of this kind of stuff. Molly just throws it on a Trello board. Pretty cool. Okay, just a Trello board will do for most things. Okay, Trello board, Trello, Trello board. Don't spend money on a CRM unless you're doing a lot of deals. Even Molly prefers not to do a CRM. She doesn't like our CRM. She does everything outside, and she does it in a Trello board. Okay, Trello, Trello. I do not get paid to talk about Trello. It does cost some sort of money, but you don't even need Trello. You need Google Sheets, and I think Google Sheets for the most part is free. Okay. So what I would do on Google Sheets is I would update the existing leads. Okay. I would update them every 2 weeks, and I would have a conversation, and I would typically do this through a couple of different things. I would do it on Loom. Loom is one of the best things ever. This is how I communicate with a lot of people. Instead of me typing out a big long email, I will do a Loom video and reply to people and go, hey, here's my, and I'll just talk for 5 minutes instead of answering an email. Okay, Loom is good. Zoom is good. But the problem with this, in my opinion, is you have to plan and schedule a meeting. And I don't like that. I don't like having scheduled meetings on my calendar. I've tried to get rid of most of that on my calendar. If somebody schedules something on my calendar, oh my gosh, it better be important. I tell May, my personal assistant, I go, please do not ever put me in a scheduled meeting. I'm allergic to them. Okay. I do not want to be in scheduled meetings. So for me, Zoom is not the way for me to communicate with you. Zoom, if I'm on a Zoom, it better be I'm buying something, I'm buying a business, or I'm hanging out in my community. That's it. That's the only reason I'm buying either a business or I'm buying a house. And then I'm hanging out in my community. Outside of that, I will break out in a rash. Do not put it on my calendar. I want to do what I want to do all day long. I do not want to have scheduled meetings. And so for me, I work mostly through email. And then I reply to a lot of people's emails with Loom. Loom is unbelievable. Okay. So if you are a closer, this is what you should be doing. Now, why am I telling you about communication style? Well, because when you're a closer, here's the biggest challenge you're going to have. The biggest challenge you'll have is that you are a service business. And if you are not providing high level customer service, which means communication, what will slowly happen is wholesalers and real estate agents that are asking you to close their leads will slowly stop sending you leads. Because when you say, I'm busy, man, don't you appreciate that I'm closing all these deals for you? Guys, there's other people that can close those deals too. Just like there's a Subway sandwich shop and a Quiznos and a Jersey Mike's and a this. There's other sandwich shops out there trying to get people's attention. The person with the best customer experience wins. The person with the best communication in being a closer is the one who wins. The person who updates their client every 2 weeks with a Loom video and saying, here's what's going on with this, 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 and doing a 30-minute update and sending it to them so they can watch it at their leisure is the person that will continually get more and more and more. Okay. Getting way Jovi says, hey, what's up, Pace? Jovi, like Bon Jovi here, looking for a closer. All I'm missing is funds to close this seller finance 5-unit in Bristol, Connecticut. Okay. Sell it to me. If you're not a student, sell it to one of the Connecticut students. This is good. Damien says, I lost a big lead source because I told him I was too busy one week. Boom. There you go. Let's say that you go to, I mean, guys, we're humans, right? Path of least resistance. I'm grateful for this because I fight through this. Most humans can't handle this, but as human beings, you go to a sandwich shop and there's a line out the door. You're not going to wait. You're absolutely not going to wait. You are going to go to the next sandwich shop. So when you tell people you're too busy or you don't communicate, you're going to lose your biggest lead source, which is other wholesalers. Okay. So there you go. Chris Monroe, he gets it. I'm never too busy for opportunities. Okay. Now, if I'm a closer, all right, if I'm a closer, there's multiple ways for me to get paid. Let's go through that. Okay. I can, let's say oops, my bad. Let's say a wholesaler, WS wholesaler, brings me leads. If I'm closing those leads and selling those leads, I think that I should be probably making 60 to 70% of that deal, right? If I'm closing and selling, meaning I'm going to do the disposition, dispo, okay? The wholesaler is only bringing a lead. They're not closing it. They're not selling it. I personally, this is up for your own negotiation. Don't come back and say, Pace, you said this. Negotiate with each other. Work back and forth. See what works. But I can tell you that if I'm closing the deal and I'm following up and I'm also doing the dispo, I better be making more than 50%. There's no way. And 60% is on the low end, 70% on probably my average. I would even try and shoot for 80% because you're doing all the hardest work. You really, truly are. Okay. So Christian Hernandez, a good friend of ours, great sub-2 leader in California. Just closed a couple of deals with Christian. If you are closing the deal and selling the deal, if it's going to be a wholesale deal, you should be making anywhere between 60 to 80% of that deal. Just, it is the way it is. Okay. Now, if the wholesaler says, well, hey, look, I'll bring you the lead. This is where you have to have communication. Wholesaler brings you the lead. All you do is close it. That's all you're doing. I would probably take between 40 and 50%, somewhere in there, 40 and 50%. And the wholesaler says, great, I brought the lead, and then they're doing the disposition. I would say that they deserve anywhere between 50 to 60%. Okay. You have to make the determination yourself. You have to have these conversations yourself. You have to sit down and have these conversations. I see so many people just go, "Hey, let's go do deals together." And then the closer gets one of them under contract and they're sitting there going, "Oh crap, we didn't have the upfront conversation." Okay? We did not have the upfront conversation. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. Okay? This is why this is so important. Okay, I have a sub 2 student, non-trained, but knows how to generate leads, right? They're the YouTube people, right? The people in YouTube. They got their feet wet and they're kind of grinding, they're doing their thing. And this lady, I'll just call her lady, she generates leads. She then goes to a student group of mine, 2 guys, they're partners, 2 dudes. Okay. And these partners close a deal for her and they get a what is called a novation agreement. Okay. And novation agreements are something that I teach a little bit on YouTube, but very heavily inside of the community. They get a novation contract, and here's what ends up happening. This lady realizes how much money this novation is going to make, and she realizes, oh my gosh, these guys are so good. They make it look so easy. That she made a determination. She says, I'm going to not honor my agreement with them, and I'm going to lie to them and say the seller wants to cancel. So she's lying and she's telling these students, hey, the seller wants to cancel and just get this done, but don't worry, I'll pay you a $3,000 consultation fee so you guys can just walk away. Now, why would this girl decide to pay somebody a $3,000 consultation fee on a contract that's canceling? It's because she's doing what? She's going around their back. And when I asked my leaders, now these are 2 leaders that have been in our community for a good amount of time. When I asked my leaders, hey, I'm sure you guys signed a JV agreement, right? They said, no, Pace, we did not. And I'm like, why? Why did you not do that? You've been in my community for 2 years. You're doing 5, 10 deals a month. Why would you not get a JV agreement? And they said, amongst other things, they basically just said, we wanted to make you proud and make it easy for the non-student and be industry leaders. We wanted to stand up and just do a handshake agreement. Guys, I wouldn't do a handshake agreement with my own grandma. Grandma, we're signing a contract. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. There's no possible way we are doing a deal without a JV agreement. And so for you guys, we already put the JV agreement in the side. I'll put it back in the side again because there's people that have joined late, but there's the JV agreement right there. If you are a closer, that's what I would be focusing on. Okay. Making sure you have a JV agreement. Now, there's a lot of other conversations to have about this. There's additional training that I do inside of Sub 2 that talks more about how to be a closer more efficiently, all of those types of things. But this is what a closer is. And I can tell you right now, this is no exaggeration. If all I did, I said, I quit everything. I'm going to let go of all my employees. I'm going to get rid of my office. I'm going to get rid of everything. And I'm just going to work out of my house. As a closer, I will make no less than, this is obviously with my skill set, I probably will make no less than $80,000 to $150,000 a month in assignments, closing deals for other people every single month. Plus, I probably will put 5 to 10 houses in my portfolio every single month on top of that. That's just because of my skill sets. That's because of my experience. That's because of my knowledge in creative finance. That's because of my amazing wife who would be my transaction coordinator on this. And I could scale and I could just do this and be a closer. Okay. The problem is this. Okay. This is honestly one of the biggest problems that I see in this business is that people and their financial thermostat. Okay. People and their financial thermostat. You see this all the time with acquisition people. In fact, we are all guilty of this at some point in our life. Here's what happens. Today, you make $10,000 a month, hypothetically. For some people, I'll lower that because some people, there's like, that's a lot of money. Other people like, that's not a lot of money. But let's just say the national average is about $5,500 a month for a household. So you're making $5,500 this month. Next month, I give you $25,500. You get $20,000 more than you've ever had in your life. Guess what most people will do? 99.9% of people will do is get lazy. Okay. Until what? Until what? Until you run out of the $20,000 splurging it and all sorts of stuff. And then you got to go back and rebuild the momentum again. There you go. This is so everybody I've met. Not everybody. This is like 90% of people. Okay. The first month, I made $100,000 in a month. This sounds crazy to even think about. I remember when I was 24 years old, I said, oh my gosh, if I could just get to $10,000 a month, my whole life would change. And it did because my financial thermostat changed. But my first month, I made $100,000. I acted like an a-hole. And I got relaxed. Then I was lucky enough to meet the people that actually make $100,000 every single month. And I saw the way that their life changed because the majority of their money, they were investing it. And so I changed the way my thermostat felt. I changed the way I felt about money. And then I got to the point where $100,000 a month, I felt lazy when I made $100,000 a month. I said, man, that's it. Same thing when I hit, believe it or not, I've hit $1 million a month every single month this year myself, personal income or more. $1 million a month. Okay. This is from 9 different businesses. This is not just from my wholesale and my real estate business, but my take home has been over $1 million a month. And I do not act like any of that money is my own. None of that money is mine. None of it. I throw it into investments. I throw it into all sorts of stuff. Okay. And I pretend I'm broke all the time. I pretend I'm broke. Now I do invest. Last year, I invested $887,000 in my sub 2 community, helping out with leads, doing meetups, doing gifts, cash, all sorts of things. I invested $887,000 last year as a business write-off back into the sub 2 community. And then I also donated, I think we donated like $400,000 last year, something like that, to charity. Everything else went to investing. I just dump it into investing in either real estate or buying businesses. And I'm just build mode. I want to build. And the problem is most people will get to a point where they'll hit $10,000 in the month and they chill. They'll make $20,000 in a month and they'll chill. They make $100,000 in a month and they chill. They just chill. Okay. This business is hard. Actually, let's ask a poll. Is there anything worthwhile in the world that is not hard? Is there anything worthwhile in this world that is simple, easy, no competition, nobody else is doing it, I figured it out? I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't figured that out. Here's one thing I have figured out, though, is that no matter what you choose to do, less than 99% of your competition, more than 99% of your competition, literally more than 99% of your competition will stop working on that 3 months in. Okay. People will stop working on whatever their dreams are 3 months in. They'll go back to whatever their comfort zone is. They do it. 99% of people do it. And when people are, oh, it's unfair, the 1%, the wealthy are getting wealthier and the poor people are getting poorer. No, the poor people are getting more lazy. They're not educating themselves. They're not learning what the 1% are doing. Guys, the information's out there. The groups are out there. The people are out there. The educators, the mentors, they're out there. They will teach you what the 1% are doing. The information is not hidden from you. I mean, think about ChatGPT. You can basically get the answer to just about any question you can even imagine. Anything you can imagine, you can get the answer to within a minute, 2 minutes. So it's not information. I definitely believe it's options. I definitely believe that it is your environment. But guess what? People have done more with less than you have. People have done more with less than I currently have or ever had, right? Think about it. There's people that are missing legs and arms. They're blind. They're balling. We have a sub-2 student, blind, joined sub-2 6-7 months ago, has done like 40 deals, completely blind. We have 2 sub-2 students that I know of that are in a wheelchair. They can't do anything without somebody else managing them, and their hands don't work, and they're still getting deals. They're still getting deals. They're physically, it's physically impossible for them, not to get grotesque, but they can't even go to the bathroom by themselves, yet they're closing deals. I met one of them at the Dealmaker weekend in New Jersey this last week. Gave him a ticket. It was $1,000 ticket. I bought him a ticket, and I just wanted to see him and his brother in that event. And he's like, man, you changed my life. I've been doing all these deals. I've been working with other sub-2 students. It's changed my life. I get to do this from the comfort of my own home. The guy is doing deals, yet there's other people that are physically capable, and they have such creative avoidance. So guys, the reality is competition only lasts like 90 days. I could teach everybody my strategies. I could teach everybody everything, but everybody quits after 90 days or before, not even 90 days. People quit after 90 minutes. They quit after 9 hours. They quit after 9 days. They quit after 9 weeks. They're not even lasting to 90 days. Because once you go to 90 days, it becomes a habit. You're not quitting anything. It's part of who you are. Okay. And so when people are, there's so much competition. Really? The majority of my deals that we do in the first 2 weeks of somebody going up for foreclosure, yeah, there's some competition. But if you follow up after the 3rd week of somebody's in foreclosure, people slowly stop calling. The 4th week, people slowly stop calling. On the 6th week, you're the only person following up with that seller. Literally. Okay. So this is also why you need a community to succeed, because you need people around you that keep you accountable. I am one of those people that I need to be around friends that are doing the thing that I want to do. Otherwise, I also will quit. I'll go back to my thing. So for me, my life hack has always been hang out with people that are doing the thing. And instead of me going, hey, I want to go play golf, or I want to go do this, I want to go have all these hobbies, my hobby has become this business and other businesses. That's my hobby. I'm not working. I am literally enjoying my hobby. Sunday night, I'm enjoying my hobby right now. Tomorrow morning, I'll be enjoying my hobby. Every single day, I'm enjoying my hobby. I have made a conscious effort to switch out work with hobby, which just so coincides with my ability to make a lot of money. Okay. So tonight we talked about the closer avatar, and hopefully this was really helpful for you guys. Didn't plan on going a full hour. I told my wife I'd go like 40 minutes. She got dinner upstairs. By the way, we're having a boy, for anybody who doesn't know. So tell my wife, congratulations on the boy. DM her, tell her what's up. Pace made a boy. Nobody thought I could do it, but I made a boy. So we have a boy coming, and that's really exciting. We are leaving to Utah. We'll be in Utah, Idaho, Denver, Wyoming, Montana, and we will be there for the next 5-6 weeks, kind of meandering through in our Airstream. So we cannot wait to hang out with all of our sub-2 community members, all the Gator tribe, the top tier TCs. Really looking forward to it. And I'll see you guys. We have 2 meetups this week, one on Wednesday and one on Friday. So Wednesday, go to whereispace.com. If you guys are ever curious, this gets updated every week. Whereispace.com. You go to whereispace.com. You'll see where I'm going, the links to the free meetups, all the things. Come hang out. Come meet our sub two community members. Come meet me. Love to see all of you guys. Okay. So I will see you guys in Utah on Wednesday and Utah on Friday. And then I will be meandering up to Boise doing a meetup with Russell Brunson. If you guys are anywhere near Idaho, I'm going to be putting together a meetup with me and Russell freaking Brunson. He and I were at a mastermind 2 weeks ago. I broke away from the mastermind to do my own meetup in Palm Beach. And he was like, "You're leaving this room with Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, uh, me, and four other, Jim Quick was there. 8 powerhouse people. You are leaving to go do a what? Hang out in a parking lot? What?" And I said, "Yeah, this is my community. This is what I do." And he's like, "I have to see this for myself." So we are going to be hanging out with Russell Brunson in Boise, Idaho. I believe either the 11th or the 12th. I haven't figured out the date yet. Hopefully I can get some of you guys to come up and hang out. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. And that's it for Get Creative.